Your world was good. It's your man Silex again, and I'm wishing you all guidance, protection, and blessings from the Most High, always. Coming to you all with the new episode of the Natty Talks today, guys. So, you already know we're gonna talk about someone's dreadlocks journey, but the brother I'm talking with today has also done some very interesting academic research, and so he's gonna talk to us about some of his findings and the different topics he's been studying. So yeah, stay tuned and I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's go.
Go naughty, naughty, naughty. Go naughty, naughty, naughty. Go naughty, naughty. Master man no stop saki yo jẹ́ we dey party. Go naughty, naughty, naughty. Go naughty, naughty. Same ko saki ye bure anti party party. Go naughty, naughty, naughty. Go naughty, naughty. Master man no stop saki yo jẹ́ we dey party. Go naughty, naughty, naughty. Go naughty, naughty. Same ko saki ye bure anti party party. Too much pani poyon ki bon ki move. Two trois me go do what on a
Okay, so thank you, bro, for accepting my invitation. And to begin with, so could you introduce yourself?
I'm Adrian Robinson, junior here at Tusculum University. Came up here on a football scholarship.
Okay. And so the first question, so I would like to ask you is about your dreadlocks. So could you talk to us about your journey?
My journey started honestly a while ago. I started growing my hair in sixth grade. I think I went into sixth grade. I cut my hair off, and ever since then I've been growing it.
Okay.
So I started off with like a temp fade, little
Okay.
afro. But I noticed like the little pieces of hair would always fall out, and like I would like it'll string out. So I'm like, I don't know. I need something that'll like some kind of style or something. So then I started twisting my hair. I would do like 2-strand twists.
Okay.
But it was just too much maintenance. I would have to get it done like every 2 weeks. So I don't know, like, and then I did the twist because I'm like, I don't know how I would look with like permanent locks.
Mm-hmm.
But like the twist, I can take them out whenever I want to.
Okay.
And then from the twist, I was just like, I might as well go ahead and lock it up.
Okay.
It just made sense at the time. So when I locked my hair, I already had hair, so I didn't start from like that ground zero phase. But I did keep it in braids a lot, like when I first got them done, just because they wouldn't lock without it.
Okay.
So they stayed in braids a lot until they fully locked. It took me about 6 months, 6 to 8 months for them to completely lock up. But
Okay. And so you say, so how long ago you said that you started? How many years? Like
I've been growing my hair for 8 years.
8 years? Okay. Okay. And so like what was the motivation or the inspiration for you to start?
Honestly, I mean, having waves is cool,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like, I want something, I don't know, it didn't really express who I was. I felt like you can express the way, a lot about yourself through your hairstyle, and I felt like for me, I just wanted something that captured who I was.
Okay. Okay. And so like when you say it captures who you are, like how so? Like,
So like, I feel like for me, my locks represent freedom. I feel like they
Okay.
represent strength and knowledge.
okay.
And just authenticity, not being afraid to wear my hair how I want it because of where we live or fear of being judged by somebody else. Um, I think that my hair is an expression that I am who I am.
Okay. Okay. I see. And so why did you decide to go like for the high top and not like all over your head?
So it was honestly before I had my locks. So like when I had an afro, I just wanted like a different kind of hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I ended up getting like the hot top, and
Okay.
then after that, like I thought about just starting all the way over before I got my locks, so I could have a full head of locks.
Mm-hmm.
But I already had so much hair, I was like, I'll just do it
Okay.
with what I got, and I mean, we'll see how it comes out, and I just stuck with it.
Okay. And so you kind of touched on this already a little bit, but would you say that for you, like, um, do they have like some deeper meaning, or would you say, oh no, it's just a hairstyle? Like, what's your point of view on that?
I definitely think they have some deeper meaning, and that's why I haven't got rid of them. I feel
Okay.
like they become a part of who I am. So I
Okay.
feel like if I cut them off, then I'll essentially be losing a part of me.
Okay.
Um, I think they speak a lot for just our heritage as Black people, because there are a lot of ethnicities that can't lock their hair, or they
Mhm.
need special things to be able to lock their hair. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just a natural protective style that embraces my background and heritage.
Okay. And so, when you started with your family, like, was it like something normal, or did you have like some adverse reactions? Like, what was it?
I didn't have any crazy reactions.
Okay.
My mom definitely wanted me to do something with my hair, so I told her I was gonna lock it.
Okay.
She didn't have a problem with it though. I think everybody in my family was pretty cool with me getting them whenever they did it. They may have been worried a little bit about what society might think or how they
Okay.
might view me, but for me, I didn't have any problems in home.
Okay. Okay. And so, like, concerning, sometimes like there are people, they would say, they don't like the name dreadlocks, like for them they say like, my hair is not dreadful or whatever. And you have like the other side, people are saying that for them it's not really a problem, the term dreadlocks is because with the history and stuff that uh, it started getting this name, because the people that were doing the colonization were kind of afraid. So, like, where do you stand on that? Like, is it something?
Honestly, I mean, before like I knew the history of dreadlocks, I didn't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I still don't
Okay.
have a problem with people if they say I got dreadlocks, and I mean I'm fine with that because for a lot of people they don't know anything else. They don't know just to call it locks or just to
Mm-hmm.
call it. So I feel like people by calling it dreadlocks, they try to respect the culture and they might not know another word for them, or they might
Okay.
not know just to say locks and not dreadlocks or
Okay.
something. So I don't take it too personal if somebody says I have dreadlocks. Where I stand on it, I'm pretty neutral.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now there is like another thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
I know that you did some research concerning mental health and COVID. So, what were some of the things that you found out in that?
So during the pandemic, what we found was that mental health and religion went together almost perfectly. A lot of people during the pandemic were spiraling, they needed something. So religion
Mhm.
is what a lot of people clutched onto, or just some kind of spirituality. Because when you feel like everything is ending, then it's like, I need something. So a lot
Mhm.
of people clutched onto religion. And what we found was that, and it's, of course, the pandemic caused a lot of depression and a lot of illness in a lot of people.
Okay.
We found that there's a positive correlation between mental health and religiousness or spirituality. This means that individuals who perceive themselves to be more religious or more spiritual
Mhm.
also perceive themselves to be happier,
Okay.
um, better with their mental health and physical health.
Okay.
Individuals who didn't perceive themselves to be as religious or spiritual often showed signs from our studies that they were also less physically healthy and mentally healthy.
Okay. So like for example, like let's say they would have COVID, somebody that is like more spiritual or religious, like it, for example, they would have less symptoms or less symptoms. Or
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
and that could be just a strength of mind thing too. A lot
Mhm.
of people are more spiritual. They feel like they can control the situations around them better than the people who are less
Okay.
spiritual. The people who are more spiritual feel like they're not going through it alone,
Okay.
if that has any correlation.
Okay. And so like was it linked also like with maybe like being part of a community, because I know people that go in church and stuff, like was there some components of that?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
definitely a high community feeling. The community feeling was also a big part of our study we had to take note of because the people who were really religious were in communities that took care of each other.
Mhm.
They had a sense of caring, and when you get sick, I'm going to take care of you, and vice versa. For the people who are less religious, they didn't seem to have those same strong community feeling. They didn't seem to have those relationships in the community that if I get sick, somebody's going to come help me, or vice versa. I feel like I'm alone here, so why would I go help somebody else?
Okay. Okay, I see. And so there is a second topic also on which like you were doing some research, and this one concerned like football and black head coaches. Could you talk to us about this?
Yeah, so my research was largely looking at workplace discrimination. I wanted to find an avenue inside of workplace discrimination that I could focus on that would add to the previous literature that's already out there about workplace discrimination. So I decided to focus my lens through college football head coaches because in professional NFL, we know that discrimination already happens. There are 32 NFL teams.
Mhm.
There's only 3 black head coaches, so we can see
Okay.
that they're already not hiring black head coaches in the NFL. We know it's happening. I wanted to look at it on the college football scope.
Okay.
So what I did was I did interviews. I did interviews of coaches from each division of college football. So you have NCAA Division One, FBS, NCAA Division One, FCS, NCAA Division Two, NCAA Division Three,
Okay.
and then you have the NAIA, which is the National Association for Intercollegiate Athletics.
Mhm.
And basically, what we found was that at the Division One FBS level and some at the Division One FCS level, where the head coaches are making a lot of money, you're
Okay.
going to see a lot of white head coaches. In Division Two and Division Three, you're not going to see as many white, or you're not going to see as many white head coaches. You'll see more black head coaches because it's not as competitive. They're not making as much money. They're
Okay.
not on TV, so society doesn't really have an influence on, okay, if the black population is not impacting this nationally, then we'll let them keep these jobs. But once they start making real money and once they start getting on TV and having real influence, we want to occupy those positions with white individuals. That's basically what I found.
Okay. So like you're saying that um, in those bigger schools, it's like they want maybe like to preserve or present a certain image, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And so like they don't think that having a black head coach will allow them to do that.
right. And they want to keep, I think it's about keeping the power. It's kind of like the presidential election. If you look at the US, if you look at the former presidents, you have a lot of white individuals.
Mm-hmm.
You have one black head president.
Mm-hmm.
So for head coaching, like schools like Alabama or Georgia or Michigan, I don't think they've ever had a black head coach.
Okay.
And I think what they do is like for certain schools like Colorado, actually this week hired a black head coach.
Okay.
And they do that, I feel like, to give you one. Okay, we gave you this one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll be happy, you'll be satisfied, you run along, kind of thing. And with the situation with this head coach that they just hired at Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of turmoil behind that because he came from the HBCU and he was trying to explain his side of the situation. At HBCUs, there will always be room for black coaches. A lot of players won't go play at an HBCU if there isn't a black head coach because that's what I'm going for. I'm going to a historically black college.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a black head coach. So he was saying, I don't need to coach here because there's always room for black coaches here. I want to bring my talents to the Power Fives, to the big programs,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can show that black head coaches have a place here too.
Okay.
And so he's trying to break that barrier right now. I think it's a cool thing.
Okay. And you mentioned like something FBS, FCS. Like, could you tell us like what's the difference between those things?
So Division One college football.
Okay.
That's where you're going to see your Michigans and Georgias,
Okay.
Ohio States, all the schools that bring in a lot of money. Their games are always nationally broadcasted.
Okay.
Those are the FBS schools.
Okay.
And that stands for Football Bowl Series. And you
Okay.
have Division One FCS, which is Football Championship Series.
Mhm.
This is like a step down. This is directly a step down from FBS, where these are your schools like East Tennessee State
Okay.
or UT Martin, University of Tennessee Chattanooga. They're still Division One schools. They still have a lot of students, probably about 30,000 students or so.
Mhm.
But they just don't bring in as much money.
Okay.
The caliber of competition isn't as high.
Okay.
And that's what you'll see going as you go down in division. The competition gets slightly less because if you got a lot of money, you can recruit the best players. You have the most
Mhm.
scholarships. As you go down, you lose money, you lose funding, you lose scholarships and things. That's why you see a drop in competition.
Okay. And so and what about NAIE? Like, were there a lot of black head coaches here, or was it?
Yeah, in the NAIA, none of their games are really broadcasted on TV at all. The
Okay.
NAIA is like, it's almost like junior college
Mhm.
in a sense. Since they're not backed by the NCAA, they have completely different regulations. They don't have to follow the same rules as a lot of other schools do that are in the NCAA. It's a completely different association, and it's almost like bringing another style of football into the United States.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Like it's like combining if we had like the National Basketball Association, the NBA, and then we took a league from Europe and we combined
Oh,
the two.
okay.
It's just two different caliber styles. And there's a lot of less regulations. Like in the NCAA, players have to maintain a certain GPA to play. They have to go through certain mandated drug testing. The NAIA just doesn't operate by the same rules, so they can do a lot of different things in their association. It's still college.
Mhm.
In the school aspect, but in football, they just don't operate by the same rules.
Okay. All right, bro. So thank you, bro, again for taking the time to do this.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bro. And be easy.
Thank you.